you check the children. Show a little match sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Hey everyone, welcome to the horror show. I'm Cecil Laird.
Robert Duell.
Fuego here.
And I don't know why my camera seems to be glitching like that. That's a no good. Sorry about that, guys.
Totally alright.
Fix it. Oh god, here we go. Guys, we are here to discuss something that is brand new, available on Amazon Prime, and we're discussing it because, frankly, it's good enough to warrant discussion. It is adult enough and crazy enough to warrant discussion on the horror show, because I know where it's going to go, and there are definitely plenty of horrific situations that are going to occur throughout this series. You saw the first one at the end of the first episode, but you have more coming, don't you worry. So, yes, we are going to be talking about Invincible. This is a animated show that dropped the first 3 episodes on Amazon Prime. It is from the creator Robert Kirkman, who is the same creator of The Walking Dead, as well as Outcast, if you caught that while it was around.
Which people need to give proper consideration to, because Outcast is the shiznittle bam, man.
So Walking Dead is his zombie story, Outcast is his exorcism story, Invincible is his superhero story. But superhero with very adult situations as far as gore goes. It doesn't get real sexy, but it is gore out the wazoo.
Brutal.
Yeah, it is a brutal series, and
especially with the extent of like the collateral damage of like regular people who were there.
That's
when
true.
stuff is
They
going
didn't
on,
shy away from that.
They kill those peeps constantly, and
But
you're just
they make mention of it though too. It's like you made way too much destruction on this. All right, you need to fix your shit.
So yeah, it's well, we'll get into the story in just a minute, but it is a adaptation of Robert Kirkman's comic book that went for 144 issues. It launched, I think, the same year or very quickly around the time of The Walking Dead's comic book launch.
2001 when this book was first hitting. So it was before he had become like a big sensation with that AMC property.
Yep, and I got it from issue 1. I actually have issue 1 slabbed and boarded. It's graded at like a 9.6. No, but it's in my storage unit, so I can't show it. Otherwise, I would have. But it's cool because I know this story inside and out. I know it from start to finish, and I'm so excited for everyone else to experience this. To me, this is way better Robert Kirkman material than The Walking Dead was. The Walking Dead was good, but it got boring. It got repetitive at times.
And
Invincible,
it veered away too. Right?
Yeah, Invincible keeps raising the stakes on itself over and over and over again throughout the series. So you guys have a lot to look forward to, especially if you liked, like, you'd think it starts off, I mean, you guys know it starts off at a pretty high octane level, and it keeps topping itself. You have no idea what's coming.
There's a good number of oh shit moments.
Robert Kirkman doesn't care about leveling people, cities, and more, as you'll find out throughout the course of this series, if they do continue on. Now, here's the interesting thing. One of the things that I saw is the casting. They cast a character that has not been introduced yet, and is not introduced until like the mid 60s to the 70s in the comics. So if they've already cast that far out, I have a feeling that they are expecting this to be a long-running series, which is good.
Have they projected how many episodes?
They say it's only this first.
There is no second season.
There's no second season confirmed yet.
No.
Oh,
this was the first 3 episodes of, I think, what did they say, a 10-episode season? Maybe?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they're obviously just hopeful, I suppose. But,
but anyway, let's get into it. So that's the groundwork for this. There's a bit of history. So I think, personally, as a fan of the series, they knocked this adaptation out of the park. The voice acting's amazing. The animation is awesome. And it is as brutal and gory as I was hoping they would absolutely not tone it down and ended up being. So I loved it. I am so excited for everyone else to experience it in this form. So I'm excited to hear your guys' thoughts. Robert?
Well, yeah, I had a hell of a lot of fun with this, actually. And so, little thing is, I hadn't actually even seen a trailer on this or heard of anything of Invincible until this morning when I get a message from Cecil. It's like, hey, watch these episodes if you got time. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I have like a spreadsheet where I'm just like him. I'm so adamant about everything that is coming out. So this was like dialed in. So anxiously anticipated.
And well, and also too, it's like I didn't know what I was kind of necessarily going into. Like once I started watching, I was like, oh, okay. I remember seeing like clips and snippets and shit online here and there. But no,
snippets.
Yeah, snippets.
I love it.
But this show is fucking cool. I was really impressed with it, and I'm like, we were kind of talking off camera. There's some characters that I'm really excited to see on where they go, because they're doing some shady stuff. But no, but going back to just the brutality of it, that's I think one thing like I like the most about it. It had that nice like comic book feel, but with the that wholesome family tie, but the real world brutality of like what superheroes kind of would be, like what they show like in with the boys and shit like that.
Yeah, there was a remain.
Yeah, the
like
realism.
A reminder of the violence, so to speak.
Yeah, but also too, even with these characters, like I already tell, like nobody's safe from anything that happened. And that's one thing. That's some shows that I really like. Like, get me liking a character and then kill him, and then get me pissed.
You'll get that.
Yeah, and I'm totally about that, and I can't wait for the rest of this.
Cool.
Like this probably could be some binge-worthy stuff.
So that's interesting. That's a cool introduction to it. The fact that you had no idea about the property even before this. So.
Like, and obviously I know Robert Kirkman and everything. Everyone knows Walking Dead. Everyone knows it.
Outcast is so good, though.
Yeah, well, Outcast too. Like I've heard of that and
Outcast
everything.
is
I haven't
awesome.
actually gotten around to that yet or anything yet.
Outcast.
Canceled before its time.
Yeah, but no, this was a nice little surprise of, hey, watch this. Oh shit, this was cool as hell. I can't wait for the rest of it.
Fuego, your overall thoughts?
Overall thoughts were this was rad status, and I think I told you off camera beforehand. I was like, okay, it's funny how it's like less kid centric than the boys, but yet also a little bit more so YA in that regard with like love triangles and stuff like that. I didn't enjoy that stuff as much, but the fact that they did not hold back on the gore, the fact that it was still very much like in your face in that regard, I thought that was really dope. And I know there's one character that I have an affinity for, and Cecil's like, maybe you shouldn't like Robot very much, and so I thought that stuff was really rad, man. And
Zachary Quinto.
But especially though, I'm excited to see what's going on with Clancy Brown's character.
Truly. Yeah.
Like that, he's cool as shit.
Is that the Cecil character? Because we have
the detective.
Okay, well, also we have a character named Cecil on this show, guys.
Yeah, Cecil is the guy that's running the government agency trying to help protect Earth at any means necessary.
He's
Clancy Brown played basically the demon. Detective
guy
who
is
basically Hellboy.
He's a crossover. Yeah, he's a crossover between Hellboy and Rorschach. That's kind of what he is. That's why he's always like, because Rorschach was very grunty as well.
Rorschach was an anti-hero in a sense. He was kind of on his own
laugh,
side, but
his laugh in the comics is the same as Rorschach's laugh. It's just the HR, her.
Okay.
So that's kind of why it sounds that way. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where it's like, I mean, we had our Proto Flash and our Wonder Woman and all these other sorts, but he was the one that made the most sense as far as like the investigation aspect and stuff. Like, he was dope, and he's gonna unravel things, or so I perceive. But we'll have to hold that to see.
But so overall, you liked it though too.
Oh, dude, I loved it. I was so about it, and there was actually a bit that Robert Kirkman did with our Fat Man on Batman peeps, and he was talking about the South Korean company that he has worked on. With constructing all of this, and really just inventory and really cool.
So the story, just so you guys know, is basically Robert Kirkman's Spider-Man for adult audiences, as well as, look, let's face it, 14, 15, 16-year-olds are going to watch this and they're going to love the hell out of it.
Well, that's what I was thinking too. It's very, teen but adult. It's meant for a wide array of audience.
That's why I made the YA comparison.
Yeah, because there's the high school drama, but there is the big time superhero stuff, and let me
adult
be very
scenarios.
clear. It is much more leaning into the superhero stuff than the teen drama. No, I'm telling you guys, in the series, it leans more towards the superhero stuff than the teen drama. Because eventually, Cecil is going to want to hire Invincible to be, the on-call superhero, and a lot's going to happen. There are villains that we're going to meet that are so cool that, get defeated and come back numerous times throughout the series and get stronger every single time.
I did like the villainous contingent that,
the Brawl Brothers.
That, except
that was interesting.
Also the fact that time transpired in a different rate for all of those alien invaders, and so for that reason they were like, okay, we have a different impression, and so I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah,
the alien invaders. So that's what was cool about that is that took place over the course of a few issues.
I figured it would.
Right, so stuff would happen, and then suddenly they would come back, and it's like, wait, it's just been a few days. It's like, no, it's been months for them, and
exactly.
It's such a cool. Again, it's like it's a story that Kirkman. Around this time, right? Obviously, Walking Dead took off for a reason. Yeah. This was really, in my opinion, the golden age of Kirkman creativity. Was Walking Dead and Invincible, and I think personally he poured most of his creativity into The Walking Dead. He was doing Battle Pope at the time as well, but Invincible was his most creative stuff, and you'll see it takes the typical superhero formula. And it really turns it to 11 for those of you that get the reference and understand.
But it goes to 11.
It really does. He bumps everything up. No one is safe, but you've already been introduced to a lot of people that are going to go the distance and that are going to be heavily involved in his family down the line and stuff like that. It's really awesome to see.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it for the rest of this.
So
I hope they get more seasons versus just 10.
So it starts. Sorry, that's again a lot of talk to say that that it's about a young man whose dad is essentially the Superman of this universe. He's Omni-Man. Yeah. Omni-Man is played by J. Jonah Jameson.
J.K. Simmons.
Exactly. Yeah. J.K. Simmons, a.k.a. J. Jonah Jameson.
State Farm guy, right?
Yep, State Farm. Or Farmers, I think.
Farmers insurance guy. Yeah.
Okay, well, I was going to say, the Phoenix Suns guy is, constantly...
No, I don't know that. No one knows that.
Sorry, bro.
But nonetheless, Omni-Man is like the Superman, and he is his son, and he is expecting to get powers at some point, but he hasn't gotten his powers yet. And so his dad's like, don't worry, son, one day you'll get it. But, secretly he's actually hoping he's not going to, but none of you know that yet. But nonetheless, one day he's at his fast food restaurant doing his work, and he takes the garbage out. And when he throws the trash away, he launches it into space. Yeah. And what I remembered from the very first issue was the line that they did put in the show where he's just like, it's about time. That was the first thing he said. And then he immediately basically jumps and takes off and starts to try and fly and stuff like that. And he starts to,
that's cool.
Well,
here's one of the things.
Wouldn't we all though?
Yes, but here's one of the things that they touch on that is so cool. So when he gets his powers, he tells his dad, and his dad's like, "Okay, tomorrow we start training." Yeah. And what the cool thing that they do that Kirkman did about developing him as a superhero is that using your powers is like using a muscle. And the more you use it, the more you build it up, the better. He can keep, the more he flies, the faster he goes, he can push himself and make him go faster and faster and faster and faster. But he has to keep working it out like a muscle.
Like Superman.
And isn't there a line of dialogue? J.K. says that to him when they're flying.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's basically you're like a newborn again.
Yeah, it's like you got to find your balance.
exactly.
But no, it's not like Superman, because Superman can be super powerful because of the sun all the time.
True, but he still had to
has a
learn and
limit.
develop those.
Yes,
powers.
but he's not actually like limited by them. You know, he has unlimited. Well, he has a limit, but we don't know Invincible's limit, as you'll find out eventually.
Yeah.
So, but that aspect, the
'cause-
fact that they focus on it being like a muscle is really cool. So,
Yeah.
Character-wise, what did you? Well, I mean, how do you guys like the story setup? Because he quickly gets embroiled in big superhero antics and gets his ass kicked really quickly. You know.
Well, he got overzealous.
Yeah.
He got cocky really quickly. But again, though, if your dad's basically Superman, you're gonna have that ego. You're gonna kind of have that expectation of, well, I got this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I was going to mention, I said it to Cecil before we started filming, is that, you basically have a much younger kind of YA sort of situation as far as like the high school politics and all that other stuff, but yet
High school love interests and stuff like that.
but with bigger stakes, with the violence aspect, you know, just a reminder how nasty things can get. And so, it's like if you're into a guy and then he has a three-way with a woman who can duplicate herself.
Yeah. Well, that's her name.
That's her name is Duplicate.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So there is a adult aspect to all of this, but yet I feel like it's a little bit more young-centric. That's a term.
Duplicate stuff is the coolest, actually. Her bits in the action, because she's literally getting killed every single time she's getting hit by but she's duplicating herself just in time to save herself. Like that's how it's happening. That's why all her bodies are being left behind, is because she's literally getting shot and killed numerous times, but she's duplicating just in time to escape.
Dare I say, I feel like
it's just an approach to superheroes that people don't portray.
It's cool.
Can I chime in though?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
No, Robert, you're fine.
Fuck you.
I must admit that the names of these characters, despite being tropey, they really felt right.
Monster Girl.
Yeah, they made sense, man. And
Monster
despite
Girl is awesome.
just retreading or whatever. Man, did it make sense? It was cool.
Adam Eve is really cool because she rearranges atoms and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, man, where was DC when they were asking about these original names of these characters?
Well, and isn't it cool? Like, she flies differently. Like, she propels herself rather than just flying.
Well, it's
like
what's her name? That Starfire girl, or was it?
Starfire. It's also what it's what it makes it look like Wanda does too. Using
that
her
too,
magic,
exactly.
Kind of propelling herself, but. So that's the story. The YA mixed with the big superhero stuff that is, larger than life and playing for keeps. So it's just so unique in the animated genre as a result of that. Character-wise, this has an all-star cast, you guys. It's Stephen Yeun. It's like J.K. Simmons. It's Sandra Oh as I think it's Sandra Oh, right? As the mom. You had
Zazie Beetz as the love interest.
Zazie Beetz as the love interest.
Clancy
the other
Brown.
love interest, played by Gillian Jacobs from
yes.
Community, as well as Come Play. She was the one in Come Play that we just saw recently.
And then we even have Seth Rogen as
Seth
somebody
Rogen?
who doesn't last very long.
Mark Hamill.
Alan the Alien. Mark Hamill plays the
same.
tailor. And then you also had a comedian I like very much, Jason Mantzoukas, that's been in a lot of comedies recently.
Oh yeah, he plays the Rex character.
He plays Rex Squad, so it's just tons of great voice actors, and the acting was on point throughout for me.
Oh, most definitely, and that's again, your actors are going to be the biggest thing, and these are experienced voice actors and behind the product. I couldn't have been happier. Like this is. God, just give me more of this. No, seriously, I actually probably am grabbing some of the comics from you too.
I got to get them out of storage, but
I felt the same way. I was immediately looking at, okay, where's my hardcover collection?
Yeah.
That I can order on Amazon.
It's so good. It's so good.
So to speak.
No,
but,
I like a lot of these characters, and especially I'm intrigued to see how they develop.
Yeah, and even more so, the South Korean company that animated this is brilliantly done. There is a lot of stuff that goes up on Netflix and Hulu, Prime, all these different spots. But this is it's a little bit elevated, dare I say, as far as like the pristine and the sheen of it, and like really fucking cool looking, man. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really
Props
does.
on that.
It's a good
animation's
segue into
smooth.
the animation. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's gory, but it's refined.
And they
it's-
hold off on the goriness until the end of that first episode.
Yep,
Like,
and then you kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, that's what this show is doing.
that's what
oh
the score
man,
is about.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I mean the animation is fluid. It's powerful when it needs to
Yeah.
be. They get across the impact of very strong people very well.
Very much
the
so.
design of each the characters between like our various superheroes that we have and everything. Like we have our typical kind of tropes and everything. We have our like Aquaman-esque kind of character. And things
Yeah,
like
the
that.
original Justice League analogs are all
Yeah.
there
Guardians of the
at the
Globe,
beginning.
or
Yeah,
whatever
the
they
Guardians
call
of the
themselves.
Globe. Yeah.
Yeah, like but other than that, like yeah, the design, the animation of all these characters, I dug the hell out of them.
Well, that was the point of the Guardians of the Globe, because it was like, it's really supposed to stick out in your mind what would happen if Superman turned on the Justice League. That's pretty much what this is.
Yeah, Brightburn status sort of shit, man. And
Yeah, even the Batman character.
yeah, yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, he was alright.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But the face crunch of
That
the
was-
Flash
oh,
type
that was
character, that's the
insanely
big money
cool.
shot, obviously, as far as the
Yeah, it was a money
animation
shot,
goes, with
right.
like one eyeball pops out and then more face crushing goes down, and it was brutal, dude. That's in the comics.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
but,
God.
But
I'm not surprised.
But that's the cool thing. So it's like for him, especially like reading the comics and he's seeing like all this actually come to life. You know, you have the actual sound effects with all that shit that's in your head already. God.
So that moment when he just decapitates
Yeah.
the one dude using his hand,
Yep.
that is just the tip of the iceberg of the crazy goriness that you'll get when Voltron meets human.
I hate to laugh, but I'm
See-
just like, oh
see,
my
that's-
god, all right.
See, then that's the type of superhero shit that I want to watch.
Just wait,
Yeah.
you're gonna see a lot of it.
This is gonna be fucking cool.
It's you guys are in for a really great ride. So I
Cecil
think
knows, man.
I do, and I'm so excited to see it myself as well as for everyone else, because now having watched the first 3 episodes, I'm like, oh, yes, they're gonna do this right. They're
And that's where I
absolutely
have to
gonna
ask
do
you,
this right.
satisfying representation in your
100%,
Fuck yeah,
150%.
Hell yeah.
I'm so excited, because the
Well,
nice
he's
thing is I haven't
adapting
read
his own
it
stuff,
since
though, too,
I
right?
read it issue to issue coming out for however many years it took for 144 issues to come out, and so I've never reread them. So I'm gonna experience the story again for the first time.
Dope, okay.
You know, all these years later, 20 years later, apparently. And I'm sure it's going to go along at a similar pace as the comics. So, you know, every year it's going to be like me experiencing that part of the story again 20 years later. So it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. If you've watched it, let us know in the comments down below what your thoughts are. If you've made it this far and you haven't watched it yet, thanks.
What's wrong
I
with you?
appreciate that. But, you know, make sure you go watch it too, so you know why we've been glowing for so long.
Yeah.
But thank you so much to our patrons for supporting the channel. We greatly appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button and subscribe down below. We'll be back to review the entire season once it's all complete. And you can look forward to that. But until next time, thanks very much. I'm Cecil Laird.
Robert Duell.
I mean, Fuego here.
And remember, stay scared.